I will just announce it to everybody in chat or through my microphone, and then everybody gets a fair chance to post their battle tags. Like I said, it's the first four to post their battle tags. And once I give away the items, the way it's going to go is I'm going to ask you guys to pick a number. So far, that's the most fair way I've seen of anybody, giving away stuff. So I'm just going to draw numbers, and whoever gets the right number gets the item. So hopefully you guys are there to see it or get a chance to get one of these items because they're pretty cool. And they definitely will help you if you're struggling in Act 1. I know a lot of people are. They can't really get through to Act 2. Well, they can get to Act 2, but they can't really farm Act 2, so they're stuck farming Act 1. So this will give you guys a chance to get on some Act 3 and 4 gear. Yeah, it's the same concept if you're struggling in Act 3. What happens is if you're struggling in Act 3, you're not able to farm Act 3, obviously. You're only able to farm Act 2. So this way, you guys get a chance to, get Act 3 and 4 stuff, even if you're stuck in Act 3, because, even though I say that you can farm Act 2, it probably just wouldn't be efficient, because Act 2 is extremely difficult. I have a lot of trouble farming Act 2 right now. I mean, I could get through it. If I wanted to progress, it would just take a while, but I would not take the time to farm Act 2. I just got a question from somebody. It said, where would you recommend farming when Butcher is too easy and Siegebreaker is too hard? Now, what a lot of people do at the moment is they'll like form groups and then end up goblin farming. And how you do it is you get 3 or 4 people, and you create a game until you find a goblin. Then you invite everyone else, put on your magic find gear, and just farm goblins for a while. That way is, I think, the one of the most safest ways to farm, because you can still get Act 2 gear. As of right now, I don't really see an efficient way to farm in Act 2 other than doing that. And especially if you play hardcore and you're an inferno, but you don't want to die. So what do you do? So you get the only reason that you would choose to farm these goblins is because they don't attack you. So that's one of the better ways to farm. The goblins have been nerfed, but they still drop rares. They still drop stuff that you can definitely sell in the auction house for a pretty decent amount. It's not going to be like the game that you can retire, the in-game item that you can retire with, the 30 million, which it could be, if it's worth that much to somebody, but you'll probably sell it for 100K here and there. How Blizzard designed it was that the Diablo series always had a tough time. Where you always had a tough time, trying to get the perfect roll. Until this day, I haven't seen the perfect item, even in Diablo 2. After the 12 years that it's been out, I have never seen the perfect rare. It has never been rolled, and the game's been out, and so many people play. So that just goes to tell you of how hard it is to actually get one of these items that you would think is the perfect item. So I would say be happy with the small achievements you get, like the the small drops. You know, the 100k item that you can sell. You know, 5 to 10 times to get your upgrade. So. Alright, I got another question. It says, as a DH, what is the best thing to stack to get damage, and do you use Sharpshooter as a passive skill? Okay, so what I think the best thing to stack is crit damage, and yes, I use Sharpshooter for a couple reasons. One, when it maxes out, I mean, you have just tremendous DPS. Even though it's only for 1 second, it's just always cool to, you know, check on your character and be like, oh wow, look at my DPS, it's 190k. That's one reason. The other reason would be, even though it resets, it adds quite a bit of damage every tick that it adds, and it gets up there pretty quickly. So if my regular DPS is like 89k right now, it's like 90k. Look, it's already at 100 after like 1 second. You know, it's at 120. It's a good skill, even though you don't have to. I mean, even if you don't, you know, wait for it to go all the way up to 100, it's still a really good DPS skill to have. So, Sharpshooter is important for any Demon Hunter. I would recommend it to anybody, even though it is inflated. People complain about that because when you know, like I said, you only have it for about 1 second, and then it just goes back to 0. Well, yeah, it goes back to 0, but then it just shoots back up. You know, it's constantly ticking up. So it's definitely not a bad skill to have. You should definitely keep that on your passive abilities.
Not enough hatred.
Another question is, do you think Evasive Fire is better than Hungering Arrow, even without factoring in the backflip? As of right now, I actually would only use Evasive Fire because I have the DPS. With Hungering Arrow, I would say it's a lot better because it reaches a lot further, and you don't have to aim correctly. If you notice with this Evasive Fire, I'm not clicking on the monster. What I'm doing is I'm shift clicking, and I'll be able to hit it. I'm not trying to, you know, toot my own horn or anything, but you know, I've tried to get this down as much as possible. So it's actually pretty tough to aim. But with Hungering Arrow, you don't have that issue. With Hungering Arrow, you just go out there, you stand there, and you spam it. You know, you don't have to. The monsters don't even have to be on the screen, and you can hit them. So, do I think Hungering Arrow is better or worse? I think Hungering Arrow is a safer way. If you have low DPS, you can't go out here and, you know, do what I'm doing. You're just spamming Evasive Fire. You're just gonna get destroyed. You know, you're not gonna pull enough DPS to actually take these things down. The only reason why I do this is because it's an AoE spell. It's a little faster, and sometimes a little safer. But you know, if you've been watching my stream, I really don't use Evasive Fire for the vault, even though it's a nice little feature. I use Caltrops. I'd rather use Caltrops than Evasive Fire if I want to save my own ass anyway. So here's another question: how do you deal with reflect damage, and do you have any life on hit items? The cool thing about a Demon Hunter is you actually have a life on hit with your Nether Tentacles, and it's one of your best abilities. So that's one really cool thing. But the thing that trumps reflect damage would be Shadow Power with Gloom. You gain about as much health as you would deal to yourself with, you know, in case there's a reflect damage monster. Now with the Gloom rune and you reduce 65% of that, you're not going to be able to you know, kill yourself, because with the reflect damage effects on a monster, I think it's like you reflect like 20% or something, 25%, maybe 30. But with Shadow Power on, it lasts for 4 seconds. It's the new smoke screen for reflect damage, so definitely keep that on your bar. I know a lot of people like Vault. They're like, oh, well, what about Vault? Yeah, Vault is cool, but you know what? Why not use Caltrops? Instead of vaulting away, why not just stop them like that, like I did there? You know? And if you're having difficulty using Caltrops, drop them, before you start to engage. Just drop them right now. And, that definitely will help with a lot of your kiting. Another thing to stack is your movement speed, because if you have low movement speed, you're not going to be able to outrun anything. Even if you have vaults, you'll use up all your discipline, and it won't be too helpful. So.
Not enough discipline.
Okay, so this is one of the affixes that they're gonna nerf, the invulnerable minion. Most of the time when I see that, I kind of just skip it. Um, usually I can take them out if they don't have like a fix like fast or waller, but if, any combination of those. And I tend to skip these packs because trying to trying to take down something that's invincible is just boggles the mind for me. So I kind of just look away, kind of ignore them. So, well, here's another one. And honestly, these are the rare packs that I have the most issue with. It's not the reflect damage, but it's the invulnerable minions. Yeah, I mean, it adds a dynamic to gameplay to Diablo 3. You know, gives you a challenge. Like, it felt good when I was kiting invulnerable minions and I was able to take it down. It takes a while. It takes like probably a good 5 minutes for me to take down an invulnerable pack like that. But when you do end up getting it down, it's actually pretty cool. But for the most part, as far as the stream goes, I kind of want to get all the runs in as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these to the side. For right now, I don't know if they're going to nerf this or not, but there's actually a spot on this map. It's right next to this little cat. This little cat icon. And they just end up getting stuck there. So, but this only works for the ponies. And if you get like, the bears or something, or flowers,
Not enough hatred.
Yeah, you can't really do that, but luckily we got ponies this time, and we can do this.
Do you ever think about what Alaric said? That you are Nephilim? The long years may have been hard on his wits.
Yeah, I think it's pretty useful. I mean, helps in those situations where, like just right now, you can't really progress, but you're halfway done with this place and you kind of want to finish up. That's a little break I think they gave you to use at your disposal. So. And the way they made it is you can't just go out there and exploit that. You can't just make a game and then, hey, I'm gonna go look for a rare pony pack and draw all of them over there. What they did was they made so many monsters appear in this game, in this zone, that you have to clear quite a bit for you to get to that spot. So it's not really exploitable. It's only for like Stuff like what I just did.